I'm in bed with movies, but today I'm in bed with wrestling. Yes, I'm doing another wrestling video. You all seem to love them, and I have so many requests for more videos, just like this one from JMC, who has asked me to react to the 10 most heartbreaking moments in WWE. Okay, so this one is for you. Oh dear.
With a heavy heart and the utmost sadness that I officially announced my retirement.
Who's he?
Now, wrestling is supposed to make fans feel all sorts of emotions, from anger and disappointment.
Oh my gosh, he was not impressed.
Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at 10 of the most heartbreaking moments in WWE history.
By the way, thank you to Wrestlelamia. I hope that's, hang on, is that how you pronounce it? Wrestlelamia? What? Wrestlelamia? Anyway, this cool person. Oh my gosh, I'm terrible. Oh my gosh. Thank you for putting together the original compilation video that I am going to react to. Appreciate your hard work. Thanks. Sorry I have to chop it up.
The end of the greatest win streak in WWE history. Now, that streak in question was The Undertaker's
I hate that move. Oh, I hate that move. Oh, the tombstone, right? No.
Bigger than WrestleMania itself.
That's the only move I know the name of.
The night that The Undertaker was finally going to lose the streak to Brock Lesnar of all people, fans were no doubt shocked. The match was over and the match finished with utter silence as fans were shocked that the WWE had finally decided to end the dead man streak. The Undertaker rose to his feet and fans' hearts began to break as The Undertaker looked completely devastated. Fans at ringside in tears who looked like they had their hearts removed from their chests. Especially this sign that was found on the sidewalk in New Orleans after the event. That the streak was finally broken. It wasn't 22-0, it was 21-1. Photo that was captured backstage of Brock Lesnar watching on The Undertaker, where he was visibly upset, probably at the thought of he being honoured with breaking the streak. Number 2, Finn Balor surrenders the Universal title. A title that was met with extremely negative reviews, as it was literally the WWE Championship spray painted red. Although the reception to the design of the title was extremely bad, the match to decide the title certainly wasn't. And it was between Finn Balor and Seth Rollins in SummerSlam's main event. Balor would win the match and would be chosen as the new face of Raw to carry the brand into the future. Balor was injured during a powerbomb into the barricade spot and ultimately tore his labrum. Balor finished the match, but on the next night on Raw, he was forced to surrender his newly won Universal title in a heartbreaking segment, about to break down and cry at any passing moment. Ric Flair's retirement segment. In 2018, the WWE ran a storyline involving Ric Flair. The stipulation that if Flair was to lose this match, he would be forced to retire forever.
Oh, no pressure.
When Flair would lose to Shawn Michaels in a fantastic match.
Was his arm bent backwards?
The closing moments of the match with HBK declaring "I'm sorry, I love you" before kicking Flair's head off was emotional enough.
Oh.
The segment involved Flair coming out to do a goodbye promo, yet he would be interrupted by Triple H, who told Flair that he wasn't the only one who wanted to say goodbye. 20 minutes of WWE legends and Flair's family all coming down to the ring to say goodbye.
Oh.
The entire WWE roster, including The Undertaker, applauded the wrestling legend. Jerry Lawler has a heart attack live on Raw.
Oh my gosh.
And realest moments in WWE history took place on the 10th September 2012 edition of Raw. Jerry Lawler began to have a heart attack on commentary and needed immediate medical assistance to save his life.
Oh my god.
Every person watching in the arena in a state of panic, as it looked like the wrestling legend had almost passed away. Michael Cole offered some context to the incident during an appearance on Busted Open Radio. I looked over to Jerry to my left, and Jerry was laying down on the table. His head was down, and he was literally snoring. I thought this obviously isn't good. He looked blue, so I jumped up. First thing I did, I hit my mute switch on my box because I was screaming for the doctor. Luckily, we had Doc Sampson at ringside. Doc, Jerry needs you, and I hit the mute switch, I think, out of instinct. Cole managed to reassure everyone that Lawler would be absolutely fine, and luckily he was.
Wow.
Daniel Bryan retires. The 2016 retirement of Daniel Bryan hit fans so hard. One of the most organically over wrestlers in the history of WWE, so when he was forced to retire due to neck and concussion related issues, Bryan would retire on the February 8th, 2016 edition of Raw, and he would come down to the ring and express his gratitude towards the fans and fellow superstars. Grateful. I am very grateful. I'm very grateful because wrestling doesn't owe me or anybody back there. It doesn't owe us anything. Nobody owes. You guys don't owe us anything.
That's a lot of owing.
We do this because we love to do this.
Nobody does.
I did this because I love to do this, and then all of a sudden you guys just got behind me in a way that I never thought was possible. Fans shouldn't necessarily get behind a guy who is 5'8" and 190 pounds. That made me feel that I was more than just me, and for that, I'm grateful. The fans broke down during the speech, and it was truly a tough watch. 2 years later, Bryan would finally get cleared to compete once again, and is wrestling to this very day.
Yeah.
The Shield disband. WWE positioned The Shield as their top babyfaces in WWE. However, a segment WWE booked on Raw following Payback 2014 shocked the wrestling world. Shield would be in the ring and Triple H and Randy Orton would come onto the ramp. Triple H would declare that there's always a plan B. Rollins turning on Reigns and Ambrose and beating them down with a steel chair. Oh my god! Nobody saw the breakup coming.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that.
Number 7. Edge's retirement. The 2011 retirement of Edge was really difficult to process for a lot of fans. Edge came to the ring and delivered an emotional, heartbreaking promo reflecting on his career and the impact that wrestling had on his body. He had been feeling numbness in his arms and he managed to pass basic test strengths but needed an MRI, and it sadly forced him into retirement. If Edge took another bump, he may be paralyzed or could even die. Now, the good news was that over a decade later, he managed to get the all clear and is embarking on a second WWE run where he can retire on his own terms.
Oh my gosh, I would not do that. Raw
is Owen. Owen Hart's tragic passing at Over the Edge 99 was one of the darkest days in WWE history. Tribute to the legendary talent took place on the following episode of Raw, and the show would be titled Raw is Owen.
Oh, that's the guy that died during one of the stunts, right?
For the show, all storylines were put aside and all wrestlers were given the option of having the night off. It started with the entire roster on the ramp for a 10-bell salute, which was then followed by a video package highlighting Owen Hart's career. It featured several wrestlers paying tribute and sharing emotional stories about what an amazing human being Owen was. It featured Stone Cold toasting a beer to an image of Owen and leaving a beer in the ring in a beautiful and fitting tribute to a wrestling icon. Roman Reigns' leukemia announcement. On the October 22nd, 2018 edition of Raw, Roman Reigns came to the ring and delivered a promo. This wasn't a typical Reigns promo, as he announced to the audience that his leukemia had returned after 11 years of it being in remission. Silence in the audience spoke volumes as fans were devastated for the reigning Universal Champion. He was forced to give up the title and will be out of action for around 5 months, but luckily Reigns managed to once again win the battle. 2019 edition of Raw, Reigns announced that the leukemia was now back in remission. The Eddie Guerrero tribute show. The death of Eddie Guerrero in November 2005 shook the wrestling world to its core. One of the most gifted wrestlers of all time, and his passing still affects people to this very day. WWE booked 2 tribute shows the week following his passing, one for Raw and one for SmackDown. Featured stories from talents about the life and times of Eddie. The 2 shows were tough to watch, with numerous talents breaking down during the 10-bell salute and during their own personal tribute to the former WWE champion.
I definitely don't want to see anything more about Owen Hart. I don't know if you guys are like this, but when I know that someone has died, it hurts to go back and watch something knowing that that's what they're destined for, especially when they're young. Like he was a young guy, died doing something that he loved, but yeah, I don't think I can watch any of his videos. That would just be too much for me. I can really see how into it people get. The look on their faces just says it all. That's real shock. That's real, they're real tears. It's real enjoyment. People really love wrestling. I loved the word he used. He used escapism. And it is. It's escapism. And you know what? The world needs more of that. Geez, especially in the last 2 years. So I am not going to ever roll my eyes again when somebody says that they're into wrestling. I don't mind my kids watching it as long as they're watching it later on when they've got a bit more sense in their brains. It doesn't even make sense. Maybe I don't have the sense in my brains. You know what I mean. As long as they're a bit older. Although, I don't know, teenage boys don't have that much sense to them, do they? Oh dear. What am I gonna do? I was not prepared for this. I was not prepared for kids who love wrestling. I was not prepared that I would actually enjoy watching these videos. I have to watch more. I have to watch more of the storytelling. Yeah. Alright, if you're still here, thank you for watching. Please leave me a thumbs up if you can, if you want to. You can subscribe. Obviously, you're loving the wrestling videos because I keep getting more and more comments recommending more videos. I get the point. I will make more wrestling videos. It's happening. If there's a particular video that you want me to react to, please leave it in the comments. I will get around to it. Just please, no Owen Hart, please. Have some compassion for my poor nerves. Let me know if you got that. Oh my gosh, I've lost the plot. I'm wrapping it up. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.